I've talked about Dak Prescott before, but old videos are old. And I made a video a long time ago. It's called something, I think it's called like Dak Prescott Can't Read Defenses or something like that. And I hate that video. It's stupid. It's old. It's kind of a stain. It's an embarrassing moment to me because it's something I said in the past that people are watching now and thinking that's my current opinion. And I try to own my mistakes, but I really hate that video. So this is my updated film analysis of Dak Prescott. This is how I feel today as of June 2019. I watched his entire season. I had an open mind, and I was just trying to figure out, what does the film say about Dak Prescott? So when I watch Dak Prescott, the word that defines the way he plays football is discipline. He's not a flashy quarterback, but I don't think he really needs to be either. You know, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and it has nothing to do with how physically talented he is. It's because of Tom Brady's discipline, because of Tom Brady's habits, because of his attention to detail. Who cares if Dak Prescott can't make a 50-yard no-look throw on the run? Doesn't matter. He doesn't need to do that. If he does everything else well and plays quarterback well, that's what I want to see. That's what matters to me. Right now, Dak Prescott is a solid quarterback with some room to grow. There's definitely areas where he can get better. We're going to talk about that. But what I admire first about Dak is how obviously prepared he is. So far in his career, he has a 66% completion percentage, and it's not an accident. This is not a fluke. Like, oh, wow, how did he get there? Those are good numbers. That's a really good statistic, and it's because he's incredibly disciplined. Dak Prescott, if you give him an easy completion underneath, he will take it. Every single time. He's judicial about it. If there's an open guy, Dak's going to find him. And that's because he's incredibly well prepared and he knows his offense really, really well. As a quarterback, it's easy to get bored with success. I struggled with that actually in spring ball this year. In spring ball, I'd throw a 5-yard pass. I'm like, man, I haven't thrown a deep ball in a while. Dak Prescott doesn't care. Dak Prescott goes 5-yard pass, 6-yard pass, 4-yard pass, bang, bang, bang. He never gets bored with success. He doesn't fall into that trap, and I admire him for that. He's not greedy. He's just like the least greedy quarterback I've ever seen on film. He just takes what the defense gives him. Completion, success. I like it. It's really, really good. It's a good trait. When you watch Dak Prescott throwing the ball next year, and he throws an 8-yard pass, a 5-yard pass, know that that's a good thing. That's a good completion. And it's really funny how narratives in the media shape everybody's opinion of a player. Early on in his career, he got made fun of for throwing the ball short underneath very often. But the reality is that's exactly what quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Drew Brees do. That's why they've had such long careers. Tom Brady's incredibly disciplined. It's one of his best traits. He doesn't force the ball downfield into coverage. He takes what the defense gives him. And we praise Brees. We praise Tom Brady for these things. But we use that exact same point to criticize Dak Prescott. And it's weird to me, right? Again, these are good completions. Dak Prescott should be proud of the way he throws the ball underneath and steals yards over and over and over again. It's the wrong reason to criticize him. It's not the completions you see that are the problem with Dak Prescott. It's the incompletions you see. It's the throws he does not make that are the problem. What I'm about to say next, is why people should criticize Dak Prescott. He does not have the accuracy to throw the ball over the top into really tight windows against man coverage. That's his problem. That's the difference between Dak Prescott, who's actually down here, Dak Prescott, and really high-level elite quarterbacks. That's what Dak Prescott needs to work on. That's the big difference. The Indianapolis Colts shut down the Cowboys' offense last year. Their linebackers and safety, part of the reason was they did a really good job rallying against the run. Their linebackers made great tackles. Their safeties were there making great tackles. They did a good job stopping Ezekiel Elliott. That's one part of the equation. But the other thing the Colts did, this is why the Cowboys could not score against the Indianapolis Colts in Week 15 last year. On third down, the Colts played really tight man coverage. The Colts said, hey, Dak, if you're going to beat us, you got to do it throwing the ball downfield against our man coverage. And he couldn't. He couldn't. He has accuracy issues. Now, his mechanics are not the problem here. His mechanics are fine. They're good enough. Everybody has their own style of throwing. It's kind of like a jump shot. Some are obviously really bad, like Tim Tebow, obviously terrible. Most quarterbacks have a good enough throwing motion. It's not the reason for their accuracy or inaccuracy. Accuracy takes reps. Accuracy is about throwing the ball a bunch. The way the ball comes out of your hand, the way your brain throws the ball, and the way you do it a bunch. You want to become more accurate? It's simple. Throw the ball a bunch. Just do it over and over and over again. And what Dak Prescott needs to work on is throwing the ball into really tight windows against man coverage downfield. That's what he needs to work on in the offseason. That's a fixable thing. That takes reps. That's all that is. Now, I was really impressed with Dak Prescott's mental side of the game. It surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise. I did not expect that. Now, he didn't have much freedom to change plays. That's another thing he needs to work on. That's fine. Whatever. Dak Prescott's decision-making is on point. It's very, very impressive, actually. He's well prepared. He makes great decisions. He had 8 interceptions last year, and 5 of them were just passes that bounced off his wide receiver's hands. It's not like he makes a bunch, like 8 interceptions really should have been 3, probably 4, because there was one that was dropped, right? He should have had 4 interceptions last year. Another thing Dak Prescott does, he's got really great eyes. He does not stare down throws. I'm just very impressed with his mental side of the game. He works all the way through his progressions. There's a throw against the Houston Texans. It's 3rd and 10. There's nothing on the left side of the field. He works all the way across the field to the backside on the right side of the field and throws a curl. It's 3rd and 10. It's a confident throw. I'm going to look left. What I want left is not there. He reset his feet, threw the ball to the right to the curl. That's a great high-level throw. He throws the ball with great timing. He throws as the receiver's making his break, and that converts the Cowboys for a first down. He gains 11 yards on 3rd and 10. It's a great throw. I also love the way Dak Prescott handles blitzes. Do not blitz Dak Prescott. It's a mistake. He will beat you. He will embarrass you and make you look bad. If you blitz him, he will make you pay for it. You can't fool the guy. What he knows is that if you blitz him, it means there are fewer people in coverage. I love what he does. It's perfect. If young quarterbacks do what Dak Prescott does. He does exactly what quarterbacks need to do. He calmly throws the ball to the vacated areas on the field. No big deal. You blitz me? Okay, I'll steal yards. Doesn't even faze him. That's fantastic. Again, he's on top of things mentally. He knows where all his outlets are on the field. He doesn't force the ball into coverage. This is one of the most bizarre quarterbacks I've seen in a long time because he has all the hard stuff figured out. He knows his offense really well. He makes great reads. He handles a blitz really well. He's got it figured out mentally. He's got the difficult stuff figured out. Most guys have the opposite problem. Most people they can throw the ball all over the field. They just cannot figure out the mental side of the NFL. No, Dak is weird because he has the opposite problem. He's got the hard stuff figured out. He needs to throw the ball more accurately. And that's why the Cowboys would occasionally make wimpy play calls on 3rd down. 3rd and 2 against the Texans, they called a screen pass. And it was weird to me. It struck me like they didn't believe in Dak Prescott's arm. And maybe they didn't. Maybe that's exactly what it is. Now, early in the season, the Cowboys didn't have a wide receiver who could win against man coverage on the outside. Their wide receiving core was limited. But partway through the season, they traded for Amari Cooper, a receiver from the Raiders. I don't know why he didn't work with the Raiders. Not the topic of today's episode. But Amari Cooper had an immediate impact on the Cowboys' offense. Just like that, they had a wide receiver who could win one-on-one matchups downfield on the outside against corners. And occasionally, Dak made some really nice throws to him against man coverage, but it was not consistent enough. Moving forward now, there are no excuses for Dak Prescott. He has a primary target, a really good wide receiver who can beat man coverage. You can't say it's the wide receivers anymore. What he needs to work on is becoming more accurate. Again, week 15 against the Colts, had Amari Cooper, still got shut down. One final critique you can look at, if you watched Dak Prescott last year, this is something you can look for. Sometimes Dak Prescott does not step into his throws. Right as he's about to get hit, he'll fade away to avoid contact. His accuracy will fall off a cliff. He falls away, his accuracy drops off tremendously, he throws incompletions. Next year, there could be some big moment where he needs to make a throw in a critical moment, and he doesn't because he falls away. If he doesn't step into his throw, it could cost him, and it could cost the Dallas Cowboys. I've talked about this with quarterbacks before. I love it when a guy steps into pressure. Baker Mayfield does a great job stepping into pressure. Dak Prescott doesn't. Now, that's something you can work on. That's a critique you can watch. But I really respect Dak's ability to read defenses. His mental preparation is on point. The major issue the guy has is his accuracy downfield. It limits him. He can become more accurate. If he can, it could bring him to the next level as a quarterback. But if he doesn't become more accurate, it will begin to become something that defenses game plan for. The Colts laid out a template for how to shut down Dak Prescott. Stop the run, play tight man coverage, make Dak beat you over the top. And if Dak doesn't, then you'll beat Dak Prescott on the Cowboys. That's the template right there, is what the Colts did week 15. One last point I want to make is that I believe it's likely the Cowboys want to wait before they give their quarterback a contract. If they do, in fact, give Dak Prescott a contract this offseason, it would be the Cowboys saying one of a couple things. Either they're saying, we're paying him now because we believe he's going to improve. We're going to pay him now before he's more expensive later because we think he's going to fix his accuracy issues. Or it would be the Cowboys saying, we're comfortable with his limitations. We're okay with it. And as long as they have a great running game, they can live with it. I mean, his accuracy over the top is what his game is missing, but obviously, he can still win without it. But it is a limiting factor. So I like Dak. I think he's good mentally. But he needs to be more accurate against man coverage. I just want to say thank you so very much for tuning in. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And my dream is to someday build Strong Opinion Sports into a company that I can run as my full-time job. And if you believe in me, if you believe in that dream, please do me a huge favor. Help me grow by telling your friends about the show. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. Another way you can help if you want to, no pressure. I have a PayPal, paypal.me/Zach Schaumler. I also have a Patreon account, patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. It'd be a huge help. That's my only source of income. If you have no money, no problem, though. I don't care. I'm a broke college kid myself. I know what it's like. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, man, I don't expect anything. It'd be a huge help if you could tell your friends about Strong Opinion Sports. That's the number one way you can help this show, is help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast.